first of all, thank you for the intro there. You'll see me holding note cards. I make no apologies for this. I'm at that wonderful age where brain fog is a real thing, and it's going to help me stay really focused. I'm so sorry, I can hardly hear, there's a lot of speaking there, so I'm just going to try and move forward so I can't hear myself too much. As I've gone on through my time, I think we've heard a lot of it today, that confidence is something that is personal to everybody, and I think it's something that is not a static thing throughout your life. You've got really high periods of confidence where you're owning the world, everything's the world's your oyster, everything's going perfectly well, and then you get other times where it's just like diving down, and what can you do to turn that around? So I'm going to sort of talk you through a little bit of that journey of how I've sort of understood what I need to do and where I've gone through with that. And I think if I take you back to when I was at school, so just a couple of years ago, not long ago, whoa. I'm going to go back to, I would say, in the old school, I was in class 4, so I think that would be something like year 3, 4. And I had a teacher who, she was quite good in one respect. She taught us to do public speaking, so to do things like this at such a young age. Fabulous. What an experience to be able to get up there and do a talk on something. But she also had quite a cruel streak, to be honest. Of if you didn't get something right, she would stand you up in front of that classroom and have the whole class talk to you about it. Not talk to you about it, actually ridicule you for it. That's quite a big thing. We've heard a lot of people with the can't say it now. Oh yeah, also stumbling blocks with words. That's a really good one at the minute. Neurodiversity, we've talked about that today. We've heard a lot of people with it. We've talked about dyslexia. Well, I've got the number version, which is dyscalculia. So where people are saying like 20 years ago they were struggling to have, well, even more than 20 years ago, struggling to understand dyslexia and how that was affecting their lives, dyscalculia is still something that's very much new to the world, and we're trying to understand that. So put me in that position, like I said, a couple of years ago, as a child, trying to understand why I couldn't figure out what 2 + 2 was. And I will still, to this day, not put my hand up and publicly say, I think 2 + 2 might be 4, just in case. As I tell my children, that's what calculators are for. You don't actually need half the maths you learn in life. So, a little bit of honesty with yourselves. That's my first lesson for you all. Understand how you can be honest about something that you're struggling with. And it's not be ashamed of it either. Number troubles are something that are going to plague me for my whole life. So I'm going to own that now. And I challenge back on people, especially my sister, when she tries to make fun of it. When we're trying to teach her youngest son, he's 7, some problems. And I'm like, no. So yeah, be honest about it. So I'll go through the ways that you can work through that. So we'll come back onto a little bit more of that later on in the talk. So as we go through careers and different things that we've worked through, as you alluded to, I've worked in a number of different sectors. Haven't always been a business analyst. I know I've been for a while, but there was a time before that. I'm so sorry, I feel really old again. I worked in customer services on a telephone helpline in the mortgage world for quite a big bank at that time. No, they probably still are being back. I just don't work for them anymore, so moving on. And I remember looking around at my colleagues and they're listening to the calls that they were taking. We called them pricing policy calls because you got customers challenging the interest rates that they were on, the differences in the interest rates between a first-time buyer and a 25-year mortgage customer, why they're paying more, who's paying less, what can we do about it? And I remember thinking, I will never take those calls, never, ever, ever, because it's too hard. Too hard, and I would not know what to say. And then cue forward a couple of months, and all of a sudden I'm the one taking those calls and saying, no, it's fine, we can do it. How does that happen? I still couldn't tell you. It's just something that you start to work through, and as you pick up experiences in work, it just happens. So own it a little bit and figure out, actually, do you want to take calls like that? Do you want to, I don't know, progress in that way? So what do? Set yourself a few goals, a few aspirations. Sit down and think about where do you want to be at that moment in time, and think about it. And look around as well. Who can help you achieve that? What do you need to do? And have a go at it. I think that's one of the biggest lessons I had when I'm asking for help in learning to use this weird little mortgage system. I don't know if There might be a few people that remember mainframe things. Yeah. All the different F1 keys that you can press to jump screens and jump around a bit. It's not as easy as it was just now, just to click on a button and boom, you're there. So yeah, when I was asking for help of how can I do this, how can I do that, she challenged back and said, have you had a try? No, because I don't want to take down the mortgage system, but thanks for offering. So, yeah, and believe me, it was possible to do that. And no, I didn't do it, thankfully. Well, if I did do it, I didn't find out about it. Nobody else did either. So yeah, have a go at setting those goals, thinking about where you want to be, and having a crack at just putting yourself in that position, putting yourself out there a little bit. Like I said, the worst that can happen, you take down a major system. It's fine, things move on. I mean, what you see all the time on your mobile banking app, I bet, they're having some technical difficulties. Somebody press that button. Again, not me. So I worked for that bank for actually quite a long time, and I actually worked in the finance industry once I left that bank. I went to work for another bank. Actually quite lucky working for two banks. For the price of one, I went to work for HSBC, but I was actually based in the First Direct campus, I think might be a word for it. So it was brilliant, had a really good experience there. But I kind of got tired of the whole, it's going to be made redundant this month, because that's what the financial world was like at that point. And I realised I'm not getting what I want out of this. Every time I feel like I'm getting somewhere, getting settled down, getting comfortable, I'm going through that whole period again of unsettlement, and where do we go with that? So I did take the leap and went to work for a completely different company, and worked for a company where I was looking at manufacturing systems. And that was brilliant for somebody who wasn't really sure. I mean, I was a business analyst by this point, working in IT. I wasn't really sure of my skill set, if I had the gumption to go in there and do that. So that was a big leap of faith. It's quite scary. Absolutely massively enjoyed it. Now I'm quite a shy person. I don't like going out there and meeting new people and doing these things. And I actually ended up in a place where I needed to be going out to the customers, most of the time on my own, sometimes with a product owner, sometimes with a consultant, but going out there and looking at how the system was working for them, and then getting on the phone and saying, we're going to do this change, how's it going to affect your company? And that's like, sometimes it's getting on the phone to a chief executive asking for their decision. I'm like, how did I end up there? Still not sure. But I did it, and it was brilliant. Can you believe I got made redundant from that job? Could not believe it myself, to be quite honest. And yeah, I can't lie, confidence back down again, because when it does feel personal, to be honest, doesn't it, when you've been made redundant? And how do you bounce back from that? I just did. I went out there, got another job within a week. Woohoo! Thank God, because money was tight with young kids at that point. Childcare was expensive back then. I don't know what it's like now. So we moved on. We got that another job, and into a whole new sector again, going into the construction industry. So it was very, very male dominated. Again, going out there, speaking to the guys in the gangs on the roads, watching them dig the holes, and trying to figure out how we can get these guys that have been working on paper-based systems for the last God knows what, how can we teach them how to use an iPad? Oh, that was relatable. And in the end, if you'll excuse the potty language, I remember saying to one of the guys who point blank said, I'm not doing that. And I said, you know what, I actually don't give a shit if you use it or not. All I get paid to do is come out here and make sure that I've shown you. So whether you use it, not my point from there on in, that's your disciplinary, not mine. So yeah, take a little bit of your ownership of your own destiny on that one. Again, it comes back to that setting your own goals. Moving in there, because I'd actually done the work that we set out to achieve, got everything on from the paper-based into the online systems, iPads, all that. Shiny stuff if you like iPads. Not for me, but brilliant. And I moved back into another travel industry job. Had an absolutely brilliant time there, but again, because all these really big projects going on, I'd actually been on the discovery section of that work, And as it went into production, I'm not on it. And I'm thinking, I want to be on that. So what do you do? A challenge back, which is quite a big thing to do with managers and quite high up as well. Why am I not on that project when I helped out with all the discovery work? I was good enough for that, and I was told I wasn't a strong enough person. Eesh, it's quite harsh feedback. What do you do with that? Where do you go? I shut myself the door. I thought, well, if I'm not a strong enough person, again, what do you do to get that? Because they weren't going to give me that break. They weren't going to help me on that track. What do I do? So yeah, shut myself the door and I went contracting. Ooh. It actually was quite good luck at the time because there's not many contract roles that will offer you the time to give a month's notice and put you straight into it. And it just all fell into place, thankfully. And it was absolutely brilliant. Yeah, you get to go out there and you get to meet new people, put yourself in a whole new situation. And I think for the first time ever, I felt like I had the skill set and I proved it to myself. And I thought I'd done that before by moving from different sectors, from going from the finance, going into construction, to travel. But yeah, I've done it, I'm all right. Now I'm doing contracting's a whole different world. You've really got to get in there and get stuck in. But I absolutely loved it. So what happened next? Well, I think everybody has been affected by this one. It was the whole COVID situation. From having a really, really, really good contract and enjoying everything, life was good, to having nothing within a week of lockdown. Well, I mean, it was good. I got to be there for the kids. They were, I think Freya was Freya still is my youngest, not was. She still is, unless something's happened that I don't know about. Freya, she would have been in year 5, I think, at that point. So Emma was heading into year 7 at secondary school. Wow. I honestly thought I've got it easy. I've got it made. Kids are old enough, they know what they're doing. Don't need to get involved too much. I'll just sit there, supervise. Fine. Wow, that's not how it went down. Yeah, so it kind of comes back into this whole number thing and having to address that. Never did I think I would have to be a teacher. Never will I be a teacher either, to be quite honest, after that. I remember having a conversation with Freya's teacher. She'd been set some maths work to do. Probably quite basic maths. I don't know, something about percentages and working out the fraction, is it? Yeah, something like that. How do you even correlate those two? No idea. So I rang the teacher up and said, I've got dyscalculia. What do we do? How can you give me some exercises that I can understand so that I can explain it to Freya? And the result I got was, just watch the videos. If Hegarty Maths could solve dyscalculia, then I don't think we'd be asking for some help with it. No offence to Hegarty Maths at all. It's very good, but it doesn't help with that session. So that's the point that I threw caution to the wind, challenged back again, owned it for me and the girls, and said, absolutely not, kids, we're not doing schoolwork anymore. And I think we were only about 7 weeks in. So we took the liberty of enjoying the summer. It was beautiful. Did anybody get to enjoy that? Was it just me? It was gorgeous, wasn't it? I got a suntan for the first time ever. It was amazing. All good things come to an end. Not this talk, just yet. Got a few more minutes, sorry. Yeah, kids went back to school, realised that money's getting a little bit tight now. I cannot just justify sitting there. And to be honest, I was getting a little bit bored. Only a little bit. Not bored enough to do the cleaning though, so that was all fine. I did manage a bit of gardening. That's how desperate things were. So, there's still no contracts around. There were obviously, COVID was still having restrictions on whether you worked in an office, where people go with that, so it's very limited times. IR35 legislation causing a few pickles there as well. So what did we do? Guys on the second row, a few on the third and a bit further back. I took a permanent job with AO. They took a chance on me. Oh, that sounds like a song going on, doesn't it? Party in the room. And you know what, it's absolutely brilliant. It's really difficult for somebody to sort of really put themselves out there and say, I was contracting, because you get the question of, are you going to stay with us? What did I say? I can't remember. We had this conversation, didn't we, Emily?
I don't think it matters, you're just a person.
Oh.
Keep talking. And then you left us. So.
Yeah, no. Not there yet. So it was, but to be honest, at this point, this is where I really sort of figured out about how this confidence has been affecting me all the way through and all the different things that has happened. There was a great support network. The BA community at AO was absolutely, well, it still is, second to none. Big up, guys. And I remember, it's a bit of a plug coming up, to be quite honest, but it's already been alluded to, thanks. What did happen? Emily said, let's send you on the Confidence Collective. I remember thinking, it's fine now, I'm pretty confident. I know where I'm at, know what I'm doing. Feel comfortable with myself just for the first time in a long time. And you go on this course, a 4-month course, and it absolutely stopped me in my tracks and made me really think, what's going on here? What's happening? So this is how we ended up in this situation where we're in a talk here, because I put my hand up and I learned a lot of things on the Confidence Collective, including how to do videos on LinkedIn, which I don't do enough of because I have this confidence thing where I'm like, does anybody want to listen to me? I don't know. To be honest, I really don't care. It's just I didn't have anything interesting to put on there, but if I did, it would be there, and whether people like it or not doesn't matter, because it's gone out to that world. I've done it. I've achieved what I wanted to achieve. So that's the point where I started to think, actually, I own this. I'm in charge of what I want to do, and I can do this. So that would be my takeaway to everybody, if I remember where I am on this. That's my confidence journey, is actually sitting back there and looking at the fact that it's all down to me. I own this. I need to be honest with myself. I need to be honest with the people that I work with, because they support me in getting to where I want to be. And that's what I would encourage everybody to do, is to own it. Think about what you want to achieve from your job, from your personal life, because it's everything. Well, confidence is everywhere, isn't it? It doesn't just switch off at whatever time you finish work, does it? It's all of it. And just get what you can out of life and keep going for it. I love that. It sounds like somebody's cheering me on. The whole of Old Trafford, go for it. Say that's me, that's a Yorkshire lass. So, but yeah, that's really just what I wanted to sort of impress upon people. This is time to reflect, own yourself, what you want to do, and put yourself some goals in place and how you can achieve that. I said before, I'm quite a shy person. I really find it difficult to walk into rooms like this, but I have done difficult things. I've been a chair of a parish council, which is one of the biggest parish councils in the country. I've spoken at full Kirklees council meetings in front of the full council and called councillors out for lies that they've told. And I've done that, and that's the final thing that I want to say, is when you've done things like that, recognise them. Don't sweep it under the carpet of a, oh, it didn't really feel good at the time kind of thing. It does. You did something. Be proud of yourself. So that's really where I want you to be as well, is to own it and be proud. So thank you very much.